What's up, everybody, and welcome to a very special episode of the Awesomely Average Show. I am, of course, your average host, Aaron Cini, and with me today is a super awesome guest, Anthony, from the podcast Poptimistic. Anthony, how are you, sir?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm good. For those listening, this is not your average episode of Awesomely Average. That was an accidental pun. We are here to give our first impressions of the brand new PS5 game Returnal that just dropped on Friday, April 30th, for those listening later. Anthony, I want to just kind of give me your just general impression.
Wow. So, there's so much to talk about, but like my general impression is very positive.
Good.
It is really fun. It's hard, but it's not tedious. It's rewarding. It's really atmospheric. It's creepy.
Yes.
Like there's just so many words to describe it.
Yeah. Awesome. I thought for this, since, this is the first time that me and you have ever jumped in and just done a first impressions video, I thought we'd kind of cover gameplay, world, story, and then just roguelikes in general, because that's not typically a genre that hits with me, and I just kind of wanted to talk about them. And I know you were a big fan of Hades.
Yes.
So, and then you also had some questions. So do you want to hit my sections first, or do you want to go first?
Let's do yours.
Cool.
Mine are more like a little more niche, I guess.
Cool.
Questions.
I love it. Yeah. So let's just kind of go over these broader topics, and then we can dig a little bit deeper.
Great.
First, I wanted to talk a little bit about the gameplay.
Sure.
I love it as a third-person shooter. I feel like Housemarque is doing what Housemarque does really well, which is putting in that like arcadiness to it.
Absolutely.
A lot of like dodge through bullets, dodge past bullets, get in, get out. It's just very, very fast paced every single time.
It's very fast paced, which I was not expecting actually. I thought
really?
it was going to be slightly smaller or slower with like more enemies, but it's like really fast paced. You're jumping around the map, running around. It's really much quicker than I thought it would be.
Which I think one thing that really sticks out to me coming from a typical Housemarque game, which they are very into like the kind of dash and move and try to get around as quickly as you can.
Gotcha.
I will say though, like adding like jumping and traversal and then the different layers that they can add to it, because almost all their games have been top-down arcaders other than Resident Gun, which is just a side-scrolling arcade game.
Okay.
So being able to take out that top down and like really break out the different levels, like get height on certain enemies so you can just shoot down at them and take them out.
Yeah.
I think that's just kind of added a lot for me. So.
Oh yeah. I haven't played a Housemarque game before, so this is my first time. And I am also discovering the height sort of.
Yeah.
I even jumped up and meleeed a dude, and I was like, "Oh, okay, cool."
Yeah.
So it's fun to discover the like. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, you're good. So yeah, I just thought the traversal and gunplay is really, really excellent. The enemy variety has been really interesting. I don't know if you ran into this just because it's procedurally generated, but it seemed like for a while they were dropping a lot of those like wolf octopus things at you, like a lot of the ground enemies. But then once you kind of,
have you seen Kill Die Repeat, the Tom Cruise?
Oh yeah, very
it's literally
similar.
those.
Yeah. I hadn't actually made that connection yet. I've been so stuck on that it's Prometheus this whole time.
Right.
Yeah. So you have those, but then I noticed like once they introduce like the bat enemies, you'll get a lot more of those than you will with the wolves. And it just seems like they're kind of progressing you through the different types by grouping them together.
Yeah. Well, I think so. I maybe I don't fall into the spoiler hole. How far in are you?
So I've put about 5.5 hours in, and I am still on biome 1.
Same. Okay. Well, I actually just. Hey, Chandler, my friend Chandler's here.
Hello.
I just finished biome 1. I'm coming down right now off of an adrenaline rush of beating the boss because I actually failed once already, and then I had a couple bad runs, and then I just now, like 20 minutes ago, finished.
Can I ask what gun you were using?
Yeah, I was gonna ask you. The fucking carbine. I cannot deal with anything else. The shotgun, I cannot do at all. I will take a level 0 carbine over the shotgun. Yeah.
Fair. I love the shotgun until I got to Frike, the first boss.
Yes.
And I was like, well, that gun is never coming with me again.
That's right.
Like you have to keep so much distance on him that it's just not worth it.
Yeah.
I've fought Frike twice and lost, so I'm still on Bio 1. The first one, I didn't know I was entering a boss fight, and
yes.
I just kind of fell and I was like, oh crap, okay, here we go. So I got killed pretty quickly. But I had those ground spike ability.
Oh yeah.
And it so I took out his first health bar like nothing. I was like, well, I'm going to just try this. And I impaled him and it just dropped his entire first bar. So I was like, okay, I'm not doing too bad. And then
that's OP. Keep that to the third
round. Exactly.
Dang.
So keep those around. But then he murdered me shortly after that.
Yeah.
It was, I think, right towards the end of his second phase, he ended up killing me. And then the second run, I was feeling a lot better, but I had the shotgun with me and I literally couldn't get close enough to really make it effective, and he ended up taking me down. So I've been looking for nothing but carbines for these next runs.
Yeah. Do that, because I even stuck just this last run. I stuck with like a level 2, even though I was getting 4 and 5 drops, but I keep getting handguns and shotguns, and I was like, nah, I'm sticking with the level 2.
Yeah,
I can't even make it work for the other. I mean, the handgun is okay, like it'll do, especially if the like higher level ones. But anyways,
what's your game clock at for Biome 1?
Ooh, I don't know. I haven't looked at it that much.
You can. The only place I know to see it is on your ship.
Yes, I've only been in my ship like once because I thought there were challenges, but I guess the challenges open up after you've defeated the first biome.
Oh, okay.
I went in. I noticed that it was just the information that I kind of can get in the
normal suit or whatever.
The normal whatever. So I haven't really gone back in, which leads me to, you just told me that apparently you can rest at the ship and get health. I'm like, this whole time I've just been running around like a peasant, not sleeping at my ship. Oh, so, that's what it was. So I went and I slept at the ship one time, but it was immediately after a crash.
Right.
Is it the sleeping?
Yep.
Oh, of course.
So it's changed my strategy entirely, because what I do is I use those teleporters.
Yes.
And I'll clear a room. And if there's health in that room, I run back to my ship. I rest. I go back to that room, and then I collect the health. So you're increasing your health bar.
Okay. All right.
Because every 3 little dots that you fill,
they give you a bigger health bar.
Yeah. So it's completely changed how I play the game once I realized that.
Seriously, holy shit, that's gonna change me, the whole thing.
So the current run I'm on, my PlayStation is in rest mode right now, and hopefully the gods treat me well. I've been doing that. I clear a room, I look for the health, I go back, heal, come back, and then try to increase my bar as much as possible.
Okay, that's great. I did not know that, and I will do that. So the gameplay, I guess, let's just get a little granular. The gameplay is like roguelike. If you don't know what that is, I don't really know what it is. But basically, you are destined to die over and over, but you'll slowly get farther and farther every time you restart.
Yeah.
So in here, you are crash landed on a planet. Every time you die, you go back to the crash, and it just like rewinds time almost.
Right.
But then there's this really cool thing where she goes, oh, the forest is changing every time. And so it like shifts around, has different enemies in different places. It's just not the same thing over and over, which helps with it not being tedious, like just going to the same levels.
Yes. Which that's actually perfect to just bring us into the kind of the story. I know, like, obviously we won't really spoil anything. I can't spoil anything. I'm so early in, and you just got to the second biome. So I would assume you were probably getting just a little bit more after that first boss, like a cutscene of a little bit what's going on, or not really?
No, they kind of just go right into, because I think that when it's a new biome, it's like overwhelming of like, oh, a new area. Oh, what am I doing? So they didn't put any story into it.
Okay.
But when you like right before you're able to get to, I guess, Frike, I think you've hit all the story stuff. Then you've gotten into the house.
Yep.
Stuff
I haven't gone in the house. It's still locked.
Ooh.
How do you get it unlocked?
You got to find the key. I don't know. That's one of those things that you just got to find it somewhere.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I've gone by the house every time just to make sure.
I've already been in the house, so I won't talk anything about that. But
nice.
It looks like they have this interesting story through collectibles, flashbacks, and there's something about this planet that like brings trauma or memories or whatever back, and you kind of live through it, I guess. So you go into the house, and not much happens, but something happens, and it introduces something that's there with you, and it could be a family element. Like it seems like a story is slowly developing. So
I saw it in the trailers. Like I know it's going to be first person when I go into the house. And it has very big PT vibes to me. Did you ever play the PT
Yes.
demo?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does.
So I am excited to get in the house. I haven't been looking for the key because I was like, well, they probably just like do that after another biome or something. So good to know that I will get in it on this
Oh
biome.
yeah. Definitely just like run around every single room and just like they reward exploration really
They do.
well.
Yes.
Um, and I've so far enjoyed the sort of progression. Only one time did I get like stuck and sort of not know what I was supposed to do, and I was like trolling around. I was like, "What?" And it was just now actually, and I was like, "What am I doing?" And it was user error. I was just supposed to go to Frike,
Oh, okay.
and the doorway was like red, and
Yeah.
so I thought red meant I can't go
You
through it,
can't
but
do
it
it.
just
Right.
opened, and I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, okay." So I guess I don't know whose issue that was, but it's they've done a really good job of packing little things into every room.
Yeah.
Um, and slowly unlocking more stuff. Like you get a melee sword which can bust through some things that you've seen like
Right.
here, there, and everywhere. You're like, there's health right there. I wish I could get that, or whatever. And so they slowly build you through oh, and there's still one, by the way. So I've unlocked a new biome, but there's like those little walkways you've seen that like look
Mm-hmm.
like they can be activated. I don't know what those do yet.
Yeah, me neither. Do you have
So I
the
don't know if
like
I have to go back
are
at
you
some point.
have you gotten anything that can hook into those little glowy orange circles that apparently can get you up to the next levels? Have you seen those?
Whoa,
I don't
no.
have the tool for it yet, but I'll see these like big ledges up tall or like a big gap.
That's what I
Yeah,
was
and
talking
there's
about.
always
And there's
that
like these
glowy
orange
orange.
things.
Right. I
Yeah,
want to know what I'm gonna use. I haven't figured out that, and then sometimes there's chests locked behind a wall, and there's always like
that's right.
blue
Yep.
glowing stuff that like follows you as you move through it. I have absolutely no idea how to get to those yet.
Yeah, I don't either.
So, and
But
I won't lie, I don't try very hard. I'm like, well, I'm gonna move on to the next thing. I
next
obviously don't
one.
have whatever you want me to have.
That's what I do too. But the story seems really interesting so far.
Yeah.
And oh, actually, I did want to talk about the first like 30 minutes is so cool.
Yes.
Just going in and the world building was creepy and really fucking cool.
Yeah.
Just the first like 5 minutes spoilers just to try to tease
Sure.
what it is. You crash land, you immediately find a dead body. It's you.
Yeah.
And there's audio recordings that you made that you don't remember talking about so many cool things. These
Yes.
things, oh, they're so cool. Like, I don't know if I want to spoil because they're so cool.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think that's been probably one of my favorite parts about the story itself is
Yeah.
how they just kind of like give you baby steps of information. And
The only
then
thing that I'm worried about is it's such a cool setup. Like, I won't tell you what the setup is just because it's fun hearing the recordings, but there's a really cool setup that I hope pays off in the last half somewhere that
Yeah.
I'm like, if they don't pay it off, I'm going to be so heartbroken because it is so cool.
So the other reason to go back to your ship is I've been reading there's certain things you'll pick up that you can only go read on your ship computer. And I've learned so much about Celine through that. And
Oh,
I won't lie, I'm
oh,
not
the emails and stuff.
Yes, and the chats. And
Yeah.
you get to hear about like psychological evaluations that she's gone through. And there's a lot of hints at different things that are happening that I really, really enjoyed.
Through. I didn't see a lot.
I not typically a document reader in games, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm like you, I just kind of skim through it, call it good. But I have found all of them to be so fascinating. Like you get a lot of tidbits about Celine and how she ended up where she is. So it's worth it.
I have a feeling that that's where a lot of the story is going to come in, is like lore stuff, which is interesting. And I'll go back and reread.
So story has me hooked. I hope that's what propels me to finish a run, like to actually get through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Have you died in Biome 2?
No, I literally just got in and I was like, I gotta chill because I got to, okay. So one thing, by the way, in gameplay, so I got to the boss. The first time I died, I had gotten him all the way down to the 3rd health bar. He has 3. They just tell you up front. He has 3 phases.
Yeah, it's fine.
I got him down to the 3rd one, and it was a quarter left of the health bar, and it was just I was like getting hit left and right because like the 3rd one is so hard. But when I went back the second time, I had made sure to get enough ether, and you can go to a certain replicator thing, and it gives you a second life. And so when you die, it brings you to that, and you like come back alive, and you're in the same run. So
nice.
I did that, made sure I did that before I went. And then I died, just so you know. It does not, like, Frike is back to 100%. It's all 3 phases. They don't, I know, I was pissed. I went in, I was like, what? And then I just had to beat him right there. And I was like, okay. Because I died the second time. And then the third time I was able to somehow overcome.
So once you did the thing that brings you back to life, he's fully charged.
Yep, exactly.
Gross.
I was like, come on, guys. But I get the idea you don't want to just farm ether and then, like, get through the boss fight easily. But,
Right.
like,
But also, come on.
there is, I know. I'm like waffling between, it's rewarding to beat him in full-fledged boss mode, and then it's also just like, I mean, come on.
I tried. Come on.
Yeah.
Probably my best run today. I like had a really good level 3 carbine. I was feeling really good. And then I got into one of those arena rooms and I barely survived it. And that was picking up the scattered health. And I was like, all right, I just have to get back to a teleporter, get back to my ship. I'll be fine. And to get back to a teleporter, I had to run down a hall that just had a moving laser and I barely missed a jump and I didn't have enough health and it killed me. I died by a missed jump on the best run I've had so far.
Dude, that was my first run. I got so far in my first run, it was crazy. And then I just fell off a freaking cliff and I was like, wait, what? Oh no.
Yeah.
That's the movement's so fast that sometimes you have to have situational awareness.
Right.
Because it's so easy to just go off a cliff or whatever, run into another bad guy because you're just zipping around.
Right. Which I very much appreciate. At least Housemark just hurts you when you fall. Like if falling off a cliff killed you and you had to start your run over,
Yeah.
I don't even know if I'd still be playing this game. I have accidentally dashed and fallen off a cliff more times than I can count.
Yeah, that's fair.
So
go ahead.
I was going to ask, what do you think about the kind of just world in general that they've been building out?
Oh, it's so cool, man. The world building is just, it's so atmospheric.
Yes.
And it's really cool. Like, I think it's really hard to make a story and world build when you're dealing with something that's like, oh, ancient civilization, things that aren't here now. And they're doing a really good job. There's like archives that you go to. There's you like collect cryptoglyphs to like
unscramble the language.
Unscramble the language, which is like then you get some more lore. You get some cool like tidbits. Oh, it's very cool. And just the atmosphere overall is super, super cool. Like the first time I was going through it, I was walking slowly through each room, like enjoying the like all the things hanging and the like things that try to catch you and like I don't know.
I want a photo mode in this game so bad.
Oh yes.
I've taken a lot of screenshots just because I love like just like you said, just the atmosphere around you. But give me that photo mode. I would die for that. I've really enjoyed the world a ton. I love how like you said creepy earlier. Like I love how kind of creepy everything is. When I wear the PlayStation headset, it's 3D audio, and that is really, really immersive.
Yeah. It's so cool. The way they're using the 3D is very cool. They tailored this game to PS. This is like the first true PS5 game.
Which, man, it feels truly next gen to me. Yeah. A lot of the stuff that they're doing. Now, I've heard people talk about this, and it's not working for me. Are you getting the raindrops in your DualSense controller?
Yeah, once you tweeted that, I've been like checking. It's like a little bit on the bottom of the controller.
That's
it's just like
so
a little pitter
cool.
Patter. It is, yeah, just a little like things.
I have no idea.
It goes away, it comes back, but
yeah. No, I've never had it. Never had it happen. Really bums me out, but I've just heard a lot of people talk about that and just the way that they chose to make this so immersive. And I think every single step, also the alt fire,
that's what
with the adaptive triggers. Yeah. Half
that
down
was really
to then
hard
shoot.
To get used to.
Yes. Because I'm a very intense, like,
bam.
So
totally.
I've wasted like the alt shots more times than I'm proud of because you're just so intense and you accidentally pull it and then you're shooting these big missiles or whatever you have.
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy.
Yeah. It's so I have to take a like, especially during the boss fight when it gets really tense. I have to like take a breath, relax, so I don't just hit that and then it's like empty. I'm like, okay,
well, that's done.
Yeah.
Is there anything else like that you feel the PS5 is bringing to the game that?
Ooh, well, the 3D audio I wanted to bring back because it's really cool. You can hear everything around you. I think it's really well tuned. The headset itself is not very comfortable to me. I have a very sensitive head. So even these, which are the most comfortable I've ever had, like after an hour, give me a headache. So I'm a little sensitive, but the like actual audio is very cool when it's used It's very immersive. I can hear things behind me all around, and I don't mean that in like a 5.1 way. I mean like it's seamless, like
Yeah,
above and below and like everywhere. It's seamless. It's
it is
very very cool.
wild.
Yeah.
Um, and it's really fun when things kind of start getting chaotic that you can,
Yeah.
you're fighting guys over here, but then it does help you kind of like swing around to take out the guys behind you. And
Uh
it's
huh.
really helped me like kind of move around the room based off of that.
It's funny because I switch between that and like a soundbar with 5.1,
Yeah.
and I notice I'm worse with the soundbar. Like it really helps because I'm zipping around and I don't, and it's like a lot to take in because you have the enemy map, the map with the enemies on it, and then they
Right.
spawn all around wherever.
Yeah.
So it actually really helps. So I've found that to be very cool, but also like it's kind of like annoying that I like lose a tool if I don't have it, which is
Yeah.
interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
Ah, so good.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the roguelike aspects?
I think I think they've done a really good job. Okay. I've only played one other one, which is Hades.
Yeah.
That one to me is perfect. I could not imagine a game that does it like that, doing it any better. That game is, infinite replayability for me. It's incredible.
Yeah.
This one, I don't think I'll go back and replay it once I finish. There's a
Yeah.
story, obviously, and once you kind of finish, I don't think I'll go back and replay it. I think it's really, really good. I'd give it like a 75-80% because
Okay.
there's times when I just go, I'm like, this is a little tedious. I don't want to go through the whole thing. The worst part is really like the runs take forever.
Right.
That's just the worst part. I mean, although the other thing is, I think they designed it because with the PlayStation, you can just pause, put it into rest mode, you're good to go. The only thing is, if you turn it off, if you lose power somehow, like, somebody, like a cat that I
Right.
have so many of them in my house right now, like trip over the power cord or something, you're screwed on that run. So, there's a lot of issues with it. And that's the only reason why I would give it, because it's such long run times. Like Hades,
Right.
literally, you can go in and be like, I only have 5-10 minutes. It's gonna be useful, and it'll actually help me later. This one, you have to go through an entire run for it to basically be worth it.
Right. I've only played a little bit of Hades. I would like to go back and get more into it, especially now that I feel like I kind of understand roguelikes a little bit. This one has pulled me in enough that I feel like I'm really trying to learn the systems and what they're really supposed to be like, because I just haven't really played a lot of them.
It's really interesting. The gameplay is really interesting.
Yeah.
And how they build around that concept.
Yeah. I will say Housemarque has now hinted that they are trying to work out a save feature. Because Hades has that. You can save mid-run if you want in Hades.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a big complaint so far for me, is like, it is terrifying to put your PlayStation in rest mode. Like I literally just looked over to make sure it was still glowing as I said that, because we both paused runs to do this show.
Exactly right. Yeah.
And so to not have just that little bit of safety to say, I'm just going to pause it here. Like I want to save it. I need to walk away.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine if I was in the middle of like a 2.5 hour run and I'm just exhausted and want to go to bed, and I just have to trust my PlayStation to do what it's supposed to all night.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
So I do hope they introduce that feature. So that's all I had. You said you had some questions.
Cool.
Let's go over some stuff.
So I just wanted to, I was going to ask you, maybe I think you already did. How did you die the first time?
Oh, that's a great question. So I had to fight one of those big red monsters.
Oh, like mini bosses?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I beat it, and I was very proud of myself. And then I had to fight one of the tall green guys.
Oh, yes.
And I beat it.
Those guys are kind of annoying. Yeah.
Yep. And I was very proud of myself. And then I had almost no health left. And then literally the next room, they threw one of each at the same time at me. Yes. And I was just destroyed.
Yeah.
So
that's how that goes. Yeah, I ran into, not for my first one, but I ran into the red one and two green ones at the same time. And they cornered me. And it was I was like, all right. Mine was just the straight up. It was the one where I fell off a cliff.
Oh,
it was my first run was like really good. And I got like surprisingly far now that, especially once I like went back and I like figured out how big everything was on the second room. I was like, oh man, I got pretty far. But I had another quote. What is your most hated enemy? Which one do you least like?
Probably actually the red mini boss. I just feel like they're really aggressive. Like I've gotten pretty good at just rolling through them.
Yeah.
At this point, but they were the bane of my existence for a while.
Oh, sure.
What about you?
The goddamn bats, dude.
Oh,
The
you hate the
bats.
bats?
Oh, I hate the bats. I can never. Yeah, even when I'm like all powered up, they still annoy the shit out of me, and they come from behind, and they're just like, bah! And I just, oh god, they're so annoying.
The
Oh,
bats are
although the
rough, but
melee helps. I just had to get into the rhythm of that.
okay.
Yeah.
So for flying enemies, I hate what I just keep calling them drift looms from like Pokemon.
Oh, sure.
The like little floaty ball things with the little I hate
Yeah.
those.
Oh, those are really annoying too. But I noticed, and it's also kind of like with the bats, there's a big rhythm to it. They show you when they're about to attack. You have to shoot them. You can shoot them once to stagger them, basically, to stop them from attacking. And that's what I have to do with the bat. Well, with the bats, I freak out every time, and I go, ah! And I just start spraying everywhere. I'm like, just hit them, so they don't attack. But that's with the weird floaty guys as well. The Sentinels from the Matrix, almost.
Oh yeah.
You just when they're powering up, just shoot them once, and they'll stop their attack, and then you can. Yeah.
Nice.
So.
Until I got the sword, I also hated shielded turrets, but now they're nothing.
I know. Those were annoying. Yeah.
You can just bounce up to them and hit them once.
Yeah.
The sword was a game changer.
I know. That was cool.
Yeah.
Now I actually like sorting all the live, die, repeat, the like.
Me too. Oh yeah. Like
fun.
When I first enter a room, if they spawn really far away, I'll take out as many as I can with a gun. Yeah. But then once they start moving forward, I just zip around and sort them to death because you just one shot them.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So it's really rewarding.
Yeah, it really is.
Let's see. I think we already talked about this, but favorite weapon versus least favorite. I think we talked about it. We're just carbine kids.
I am right now for sure. Yeah. That has been my favorite. I do, like I said, up until the fact that I would have to fight a boss with it.
Yeah.
I appreciate the shotgun for those like big arena rooms, just sprinting around and taking out as many enemies as you can. Because if you get up close, you can really lay into people.
Yeah. What about the alt fire? Which one do you like?
So I'm torn between two. I like the lightning storm one.
That one's good.
And then the one where it shoots a whole bunch of green, like heat-seeking missiles that just come at you.
Oh, those are mine. Yeah, the heat-seeking. Oh, yeah. Because I just pop out, pew,
oh, yeah. And then you're back in cover.
And I'm like, I know I took one out. I don't have to like futz around with the horizontal spray, which you like have to sort of aim.
Right.
It's got an arc.
And if you shoot too low, which I learned the very first time I shot it, like it hits some stairs in front of the enemies.
Yeah.
It'll bounce and just ricochet off to other stuff. And so I love the green heat-seeking missiles, and then the lightning I just found is really, really good against those red mini bosses.
Okay.
So
yeah, I missed that when I fought Frike. That's such a weird name. The third time just now, I had the frickin' volley, but it kind of works if there's just one stationary dude. It does a lot of damage.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, that kind of worked out to my advantage.
Did you use any melee against Frike, or did you just stay back?
No, I stayed so far away from him.
I did pansy out and just watch a YouTube video before bed last night. I'm like, is there a tip I should know about? And one guy was like, when he goes under to the smoke and then pops back up at you, he's like, you can hit him, but only once, and then you better get the heck out of there.
Yeah, totally. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay. That was it for my conversation starters. We hit all my points. I think it's just an awesome overall game.
You feel like you'll for sure stick with it and get through it?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Is that the type of gamer you are though? Do you always beat whatever game you get?
No, God, no. Actually, I give up pretty easily. I kind of go like, I'm not going to enjoy this. This is in fact, if Chandler's still around, he can attest to this. I'm kind of like, if I don't enjoy it, I kind of make it known, and I'm like, I'm just not really gonna go through the motions on this one.
I'm the exact same way. Even ones that I really like, but I think this one I will absolutely stick through until I beat a full run. But like Sekiro, or Sekiro, I loved that game. Was starting to get into a really good rhythm, and then halfway through, you fight the prince, the lightning guy who drops down on you.
Oh, I never played it. Yeah.
Oh, it was a brick wall, and I ended up putting it down. I was like, I think I played it for like just that boss for like 4 hours one day. I was like, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
This is never happening. So you were fun while it lasted.
I totally get that. Like I have put down games before, but I don't remember what the last one was that I actually put down. I mean, technically I put down Hades, but like one of those things that I found Hades so satisfying that I was like, I'm going to kind of string this out, and
Yeah.
and it's so replayable that I can play it at any time and continue. And I want to, and I actually kind of put it down for a reason. I was like, I actually want to put it down because I don't want to finish it right now, and
Nice.
actually give myself a reason to come back and play a little bit here and there. So
Have you done a full run of Hades?
no,
Nope, never.
I think you can see the map, and I think I've got about 75% through.
Oh man.
Yeah, I there's a god mode. I think you already know that there's like a god mode where like it's basically guarantee power every single run, because every time you die you get like 5% more health or something, or like
Yeah.
5% less incoming damage or something like that. So literally you become like more invulnerable and you can just plow through everything. And I flip back and forth.
Nice. That's awesome.
Chandler says you put down Siege before you became God tier. I played it twice and went, yeah, I'm not gonna.
This ain't me.
This isn't me.
That's too funny.
Although he did get me into Valorant, so
Oh, nice.
yeah.
I will say the one kind of bummer thing, and this doesn't affect me directly, but it affects a lot of people I know. Not a ton of accessibility options in this, which I bring up because of Hades. I have a friend who reached out to me. He's like, "Hey, did you buy Returnal?" I was like, "I did. I'm a few hours in," and he was like, "Do you mind just popping into the menu and checking out the accessibility options?" He has cerebral palsy, and Hades like really had a lot of options in there that made the game more enjoyable for him.
Yeah.
And he was able to complete runs and he really enjoyed his time with it. But it's funny. I was like, there's not a difficulty. And the best you can do is up your aim assist to high. And he's like, that's a bummer. I'm still going to buy it. I love sci-fi.
Yeah.
So he still
sure
bought
he'll
it and
have some
dove
fun
in,
with
but
it.
yeah.
But that's tough. I could see it being hard for them to balance accessibility because it's so tuned. Like for instance, the alt fire on the DualSense controller.
Yeah. Which you can shut off actually. You can do a different button combo for alt fire if you want.
Oh, cool.
I think it utilizes the bumpers.
Sure.
But which I wouldn't have known until he asked me to go through the menu, which was kind of my first time,
Thinking about that.
Yeah. Which is privileged as that sounds.
I know. I haven't gone through that at all. That's really, I have so much privilege in that regard.
Yeah. So,
I think it'll get better though, because I'm thinking,
me too.
like we're saying, the first PlayStation 5 game,
right?
They're basically leading the way.
Oh yeah.
This is part of that. Like they have to think about these things now, and as the DualSense controller continues, developers will understand how to adapt that a little bit more.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's just growing pains.
Yeah, and then it's just weird because you also have studios like Naughty Dog, right? Who Last of Us 2 had probably the most robust accessibility options anybody's ever seen.
Yeah.
Like audio cues and all sorts of stuff. Like you could figure out where bad guys are if you were deaf, and all sorts of really cool, innovative things that they were able to do. But
that is incredible. Yeah, did they win an award for that?
Yeah, they did, which is really awesome. So, but I don't know. I like you said, I think it's just kind of a learning thing. Also, Housemarque has never done anything this ambitious and big. Everything they've done has been arcadey shooters. So I give them the benefit of the doubt on that one. But are you going to get Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart?
I'm waffling on that because I went back and I played the PlayStation Plus free one, whichever one that was, and I enjoyed it. And I don't know if I'm just like that target demographic anymore. I used to love that kind of game. Like I played Spyro as a kid, like Crash Bandicoot, but it's just like not really my thing. But I was like thinking about it and I was like, why not?
Yeah.
Like why not have some fun? Like it was like dumb fun. It was like a little linear, but like whatever.
I'm going to do it just for the technical aspect. Like I can't wait to see how you can pull in different universes and all this stuff. Like just how it's processing so many different levels is crazy.
Miles Morales was a fun one for that.
This is a fair point when we're talking about accessibility. Like Housemarque is still technically an indie dev just because they put out a fairly bigger game. So just having those resources is huge. And hopefully that's something Sony wants to continue to support. So
yeah. Well, when they make when they have someone do a PlayStation exclusive, they put they actually have like a dedicated team that goes in to do the PlayStation like hardware with them, how to get the most out of their stuff. They usually throw their support behind it. But
nice.
They just might not think about that yet. Like maybe that's, too new.
Yeah.
But anyways.
I had one last thought for you. Oh, end of the year, Poptimistic. You guys are doing a podcast. Say you're breaking down your top 5 comics, movies, and games. Do you think this lands in your games?
Oh. Of this year, 2021?
Yeah.
It might. Yeah. Including movies? Okay, here's the thing. Probably not. No.
Oh, no. Sorry. I'm saying if you guys break it up into categories and one of those
Oh,
categories is games, do you think this will land in your top 5 games?
I think so. Yeah. It's fun and different, and I really like it so far.
I think if the story sticks the landing on everything they're building towards me, then yes. I think it'll also be in my top 5.
Like that stuff I was talking about paying off and
yeah.
If they're hinting at an emotional sort of family story issues, like trauma or some type. So if they bring that all together and they close out the like sci-fi setups that they have, I think it could really fucking land.
Nice.
So
maybe
we should do like a post-mortem and be like, well, that sucked if it didn't.
This is you not on Poptimistic. You're just coming in, you're like, I don't have to be positive. This was shit.
No, I don't. That's when I like being free, and it's funny because I also want Brent to go on more stuff because he's such a funny dude, but like most of his humor is like really dark. So it's just, he really tones himself down for Poptimistic. I would love for him to go wild on another show.
Oh my God. I'd love it. We should do like a Bizarro World Poptimistic episode, and you guys just do the exact opposite.
Okay, so that goes along the lines. We were thinking of doing an episode where we switch with somebody, and we do their podcast, and they do ours.
Oh my God!
Just do a swap out episode, which would be fun.
That would be awesome.
Also, Bizarro is really fun too. Like we could trash on something. That would be that's an interesting. We'd have to make it wholesome in some way. Like it could be total trashing, but it's like maybe in support of something. I don't know. I'm definitely gonna note that down and talk to Brent about it. That's a good idea. Yeah.
I love it. Awesome. Well, hey, thanks for joining me. Tell the fine folks where to find you, where to hang out with you.
Oh yeah. Well, we are on Twitter. Well, I am on Twitter at Pirate Cat. Poptimistic is pop_timistic, and our episodes come out every Wednesday on everything, as far as I know, all the normal podcast stuff.
Awesome, sweet, and you
so
can
much,
always find me on Twitter at Aaronseaney, AARONSEANEY, or Speak of Stadia or Awesomely AVG. I don't tweet at all from Speaking of Stadia. I just let Jake run that Twitter, but mostly I tweet from Aaron.Seaney. And you can find me arguing with Pirate Cat right here about whether or not Invincible's animation is good, which it is. So
that's true.
That does it for this very special episode. Anthony, thanks so much for joining me. Maybe we'll tag up and do another quick 30-minute if we both beat the game.
Yeah.
I have to be able to beat it though. Maybe that'll motivate me to do so.
You got this.
I got this. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining us. Until next time, I'm Average. You're awesome. Peace.